Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We will be streaming live soon.
Live from the campus of the Mount Zion Baptist Church of Kalamazoo, Michigan, welcome to Celebrating Black Excellence. With your hosts, the conscious of Kalamazoo, Brother Buddy Hannah, and the pastor of the Mount Zion Baptist Church, Dr. Addis Moore.
We're back once again. It's another Thursday night. We're back with Celebrating Black Excellence. It is our desire to highlight, to inform, to educate, to encourage, inspire individuals to actually excel. And we know that we've got a lot of black leaders that's doing phenomenal things. It's our intent to highlight them. And tonight, Buddy, welcome back. It's good to see you again, and we're getting ready to roll.
We're getting ready to roll. Good to be back, and we got two outstanding young ladies tonight, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Outstanding guests, and you're going to be inspired, I guarantee you. So look, guess what? If you're on already, now get in touch with someone, let them know Celebrating Black Excellence is on tonight. We've got two outstanding ladies tonight that you will hear their story, and I guarantee you it's going to just move you to do something extra and to do something better. So I'm excited, Buddy, when we were able to get these two women, and they're on the same night.
Same night.
But one of them, Buddy, I'm a little concerned about one of them. I'm a little concerned about one of them because one of them, she does this type of work on a regular basis, and she's quite good at it. So I don't know how that's going to work with this one.
We're gonna keep watch on her, okay?
Okay, so what I need you to do now, because I know you're skilled at this and you've done it for years. So one of these you're gonna have to keep in check. Is that?
We'll figure it out as we go along, but I must say that I don't know. It's going to be hard keeping her in check because she kicked me off the radio. That's how I lost my show.
Okay, all right. So guess what? So Buddy. Well, who do we have? Because I know. Guess what? Now listen. Go ahead and share. Go ahead and call someone, text someone, and say, get ready. Celebrating Black Excellence is on tonight again, and we invite your questions and comments. We'll actually field those during the time in which we're on, and we'll answer as many as we possibly can. So whatever you want to know, these young ladies to answer, please share those comments and questions with us. Buddy, who we have?
Oh, we're happy to have tonight, and we have with us Ms. Sharmese. Am I pronouncing that right? Sharmese? All right. Sharmese Anderson, who is the president and CEO of Friends with Disabilities, which is a 501(c) nonprofit community benefit organization. And we also have with us Angela Anderson, who is we know her as Double A because she hosts Speak On It on the local radio station here, 95.5 The Touch. But she also wears many, many, many other hats. And we're both here to, they're going to share their stories with us. And we're going to get this program started. Because I have a question before we even get started.
You got one before
we get started? To get started.
Oh, to get started?
Yeah.
Okay.
My first question is,
okay, buddy, go ahead.
Are y'all related? Anderson? Yeah?
Spiritually, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I didn't know.
Yes, spiritually.
You never know.
They're related.
That's good.
They're related spiritually, but
yeah, but that's good.
Spiritually.
All right. Well, hey, I tell you what. Let's get started. You wanna throw the first one?
Let me throw the first one off.
All right.
Once again, these amazing ladies are here, and we're thankful that they were able to come tonight and to share with us and with the greater audience. And so we're excited. I want to start with Sharmese Anderson. Buddy, Sharmese, you have an amazing story how you have turned what others may see as tragedy into triumph, where individuals will see at a disadvantage, you've actually turned it into an advantage. So you tell us what friends, what disabilities, what is that?
Okay. Well, first I would like to say thank you for having me here this evening. It's such a pleasure to be here. Friends with Disabilities, oh my. It is an organization. We reach out to the individuals in the community that's just like myself, 18 or older, with a physical or mobility disability, to educate as well as promote inclusion while building connections. And for those of you who don't know, I myself am visually impaired, so I too have a disability. So we always say we are people with disabilities, helping others in the community with disabilities.
So how did this, what prompted you? Like, how'd you get this started? What was your drive?
Well, this was all anointed and appointed by God, honestly. I used to be able to see 2020 like everyone else did. I was able to drive, had an active career and everything, and this is how it all started. And I walked into a sanctuary. I used to work at a church. I walked into the sanctuary. They were having a Christmas production back in 2005. When I got to the doors, it was like someone came behind me with the darkest blindfold and played a trick on me, and I could no longer see. So they were having a Christmas production. I got to the door, and then all of a sudden, I just could not see. What I didn't know is that was the onset of my eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa. I am now declared legally blind. Retinitis pigmentosa is a rare degenerative eye disease that robs you starting from your peripheral vision to your retinas that goes, the doctor says, into complete blindness. And I was born with this eye disease, but I didn't know that I had it. It didn't make its presence to me until I was 35 years old. And it happened just like I said, walking into the sanctuary where I used to work, and I could no longer see. And so after I went to the eye doctor, they told me this is what I have, and I will eventually go completely blind. So moving forward and all, I prayed and I sought the Lord, because I'm like, Lord, I have this eye disease that I know absolutely nothing about or how to cope with this eye disease. And as I continued to pray and I did fast and all, the Lord told me, that was in 2005, 2007, I was declared legally blind. And then in 2016, because I had received the gift, as I tell people, of blindness, I had to lose my spiritual eyesight, my eyesight to gain spiritual insight. And so as I moved forward, I noticed that I was losing family and friends and spouse and things like that. I said, wow, Lord, this is what people with disabilities is going through, all this isolation and all. And he told me, the Holy Spirit said, go as you are. I need you to be the voice for people like yourself with disabilities. And I was shocked, really, really shocked that the Holy Spirit had told me that. But again, I had to lose that eyesight to gain that spiritual insight, to the gift of blindness, for the Holy Spirit to give me now my purpose. And that's how Friends with Disabilities came into fruition. And so now we help people that look just like us, for people with disabilities, by people with disabilities.
All right, buddy.
Well, and I guess I want to ask you, Sharmese, we know that was a big obstacle to overcome. But once you found that spiritual insight and everything, and then you began to deal with forming this organization and everything, what are some of the other obstacles that you had to deal with putting this organization together?
Wow. The obstacles that we've encountered while pulling this organization together, it was a lot of naysayers, because a lot of people don't have the education of people like ourselves with disabilities. So it is, well, you have a disability, you can't. you can't, you shouldn't, well, you don't. It was a lot of that because of the lack of education of people not knowing. So it was like, well, Sharmese, well, you have a disability. You can't run an organization. You can't be the president and CEO of an organization. So I had a lot of naysayers that told me that I couldn't because I am a person with a disability. And by society, people think that because you have a disability, you're just sitting in the house, you don't have anything to do, and you basically have no life. And that is not true at all. Mm-hmm. We do everything except for drive a car and fly a plane. So those were a lot of the obstacles that we endured while starting Friends with Disabilities.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right, now, and we've got other questions, we'll come back. But we got another young lady here, and you probably heard her. You hear her voice every week on a weekly basis, and we've been hearing it for years. And so we're definitely grateful to have her here tonight, just to put her on the other side. Usually she's doing what we're doing, but it's great just to have her in this seat to see what drives her and to see what pushed her and to know her story. Angela, how'd you get started? I'm talking about the radio now, because you've got this program called Speak On It. So how did you get started? Where's the foundation of what you're doing?
Wow, there are many starts to my journey to Speak On It, and I will just say this. In the community, I did a lot of activism and acting. I still do that, thanks to Buddy. He still has me on the rolls, if you will. But I started at The Touch, is where Speak On It is home to, doing voiceovers where they needed assistance there after a number of years of trying to get there, right? And then a certain person was getting ready to retire after so many years. And I believe you may know him by the name of Buddy Hanna. He had a show called Talk It Up. And after years of co-producing and doing technical work and that type of thing, they were looking for another host to do a talk and informative show. And they looked at me. And some of the questions I was asked was, why would you want to do this? What do you think you could bring to the community over the airwaves? And one of the things is I look at myself, and oftentimes people say, well, you didn't take this or that journey to get there. You didn't fall into a specific line of journalism. But the important thing is I fell into life, and I have life experience where people need to be okay with putting their voice to situations they deal with and go through and share what they have to give for not only themselves, but the community. Speak On It is a safe ground where people can be themselves. I do informational conversation as opposed to saying interview, you know. We have to do that to loosen the reins, to make people feel at home, feel comfortable, and know that it's okay to be human. And that's where we can be human on Speak On It. It's an equitable space. It's a space where there's laughter, there may be tears, and there have been. We have a lot of the tagline for Speak On It. It's an informational bridge that exposes current events and then also brings about most important individual gifts and other things going on in the community, both locally and at large. We all have a voice, particularly young people. I have a special place for young people in highlighting what young people do in our community, because there's many people who oftentimes have negative connotations and we highlight all the negative. When I say we, I mean the U.S. culture in general. We highlight the negative. We don't do enough of celebrating our youth, even in the very small, you know, accomplishments, right? So I wanted to take that from just ideas out of my head and put it into effect and bring to fruition and show other people behind me, and then some that may walk alongside me and say, hey, there is a way we can do this creatively, you know, and the other part of that is we can be ourselves. Part of my other side of that is when I was on stage, I could always, because Angela is somewhat of a shy person, believe it or not, and I could always put Angela away and be the character But now this way, Speak on It and doing more of that in more public events and my advocacy work has given me, has helped me massage that muscle to be able to be myself and to be able to encourage, empower, educate, inform, and uplift individuals I come in contact with. So I like to normalize the experience of being human in this thing called life.
Buddy, she's yours.
Well, first of all, I would like to say, Angela, that, you know, I've known you for quite some time. We've worked together for quite some time. Angela is being real modest in terms of when she talk about her journey to Speak on It. What she didn't mention is that Angela also started out doing the voiceovers, but then she began to do a lot of work operating the board for different shows, my show included. And she was the technical person for my show for a long time. And then she moved into co-hosting the show with me from time to time. And so she put in the work. It wasn't just handed to her. She put in the work, and she was very modest about that, but she spent a lot of time doing that. And also, I do understand with the acting thing, she's probably been in every production that I've done. And she wears many hats, and that's what I wanted to ask you about, wearing so many hats, because you have another job that you do, the what is it, 8 to 5, okay? Yeah. And you also are an entrepreneur, and you have your own company. Tell us a little bit about your own company that you have.
My own company is it's a philanthropic piece. It's called the Butterfly Diamond Collective, where I bring multiple people together to celebrate Black. Period. It's a birth out of the idea we don't do enough celebrating. There's always the stories and the hiccups and the secrecies in Black families and other families of color. I want to bring to life that we can be real, we can coexist together through art, through poetry, through dance, through song, and all of those things. And that's what Butterfly Diamond Collective is all about. And we also support young people through a lot of advocacy work and giving, if you will, with free packs and that type of thing, starter kits for school, personal hygiene items, and small micro grants for those who are excelling in whatever field of interest they are in. So does a young person have to get straight A's in school? No, but they do have to be able to talk and to be able to articulate what it is they want and how they will go about in getting it. And it's judged by a few of my peers, and that's how individuals get the prize or the token of appreciation to their contribution of life.
So Angela, listening to you talk, and you're 8 to 5, you're involved in community, you care about community, you care about Blacks, young people succeeding. So when you look at what's going on in our community now, what breaks your heart when you look at the things that's happening? What's the thing that breaks your heart that just grabs you and like, okay, I gotta speak on this, I gotta do something about this?
One of the things, Pastor, and thank you so much for that question, one of the things that definitely breaks my heart and just dealing with a few things this very moment is individuals who don't realize their worth. Individuals that don't realize history has brought them here to be able to do something, to walk in their gift, their calling, and their talent. And when young people throw that away, and what I mean by throwing away is not being concerned with why they're here, not being concerned with their purpose in life, whether it's great or small, we all have a place in this life. And when an individual wants to throw that away or does not want to put in the work to discover or run into it, that breaks my heart. So from that, I try to find many different ways and avenues to massage that, to ignite a fire in individuals so that they will see, regardless of what it is, great or small, however they see themselves, we all are important, period.
Right. So just before I get back to Sharmese, we get back to her. When you look at your life and so what obstacles injustices, prejudices have you had to overcome to get to the Angela Anderson you are today?
Thank you for that. First of all, I will say I'm not over everything. I am a work in progress, and I always say, and it sounds cliche, you know, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I come from, again, I don't have a lot of, say, professional experience in some of the stages or platforms I've been blessed to be on, and I call that, you know, a great thing that someone would see so much in me to include me, to make me be a part. The other thing is, when I mentioned I could hide myself when I was acting, when I was portraying someone else, hiding myself was one thing I could do, and I can be someone else. I can be loud, I can be boisterous, I can be smart, I can be intelligent, I can be beautiful, I can be quick-witted, I could be a number of things in someone else's role. It took me till I got grown and having children, then I realized, wait a minute, I'm adult. Wait a minute, I am somebody. I just have to believe it. And sometimes, even me, I have to stand in the mirror and make sure I say that to myself. I give myself affirmations. I say that every day, every night. And especially with the climate of the world today, we all have to find that vice, that's something that will bring us back to center and refuel so that we can be better to move on and to touch and engage and improve some area of life every day.
Yeah. Sharmese, I wanted to ask you, you know, I see here where you is known throughout the state of Michigan as an informed speaker for persons living with disabilities. Before your disability, were you that involved in things, or were you that outgoing that you have all of this stuff? Or did this come about after your disabilities? How did this motivate you? Were you that type of person before, or what happened?
That's a very good question. Thank you for asking that question. Prior to me being diagnosed with a disability, no, I wasn't. And it's just that came about because the isolation, the depression, all those things that came into play after I was diagnosed. And then I realized that after being diagnosed with a disability, that it's a lack of education out there. So I have got to speak to people, educate myself, so therefore I can educate the community about us with disabilities. Because there is truly a lack of education that's out there that comes along with a person that has a disability. And so after that, it was, okay, Sharmese, you got to go out here and educate the community now. Because prior to myself being, like I said, diagnosed with a disability, I had no idea of what people with disabilities could do or live an active life or anything like that. So I made it my mission, and also to, like I said, the Holy Spirit told me to go out and do it, and I enjoy what I do of going out and educating people about us with disabilities, that we too can live an active life. We just do things differently. Instead of maybe going A, B, C, we go A, C, and come back to B. But we still can accomplish the things that God has set us out to do as people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are an advocate, and I know that because you've navigated the halls here at Mount Zion, and you've helped me and our congregation a lot because you brought some things to our attention that normally, if you don't have a disability, you ignore and you don't know. And I think that speaks to the lack of education you talk about. Can you mention some things that individuals without disabilities really don't understand, and you have to speak to it, because if you don't, it's not acknowledged? Can you share some of those things?
Absolutely, and thank you so much, Pastor, for asking that question. Some of the things that we have to educate people on simple things as, like I said, myself for one, a person that is visually impaired, how to guide us. So a lot of times that, as we say, people that are sighted that can see, oh, it's over there, or where you can go over there and sit down. No, you have to guide us and maybe take our hand and show us where it's over there. It's to the left, it's to the right. Your seat is 3 steps ahead of you at the 12 o'clock position of a clock. Those type of things for those like Carlicia, who is also on our board in a wheelchair. don't run up to her and just push her wheelchair. So we're educating people on how to just help us to just be on a daily basis, just to be able to walk around and do regular things that everyone else do. And so, like you said, Pastor, coming here, educating Mount Zion, we go to other organizations and we educate them. Just treat us, as we say, as people like you want to be treated yourself. We are people too with disabilities, and we want to be treated just like everyone else. And so now, because a lot of people don't know the education, as we say, the disability etiquette, we teach disability etiquette.
I'd like to ask you a question just as a follow-up to that. You're around so many people like yourselves who, with a disability, have accomplished and achieved so much. How do it make you feel when people that don't have those disabilities and everything, and they have that lack of achievement and everything? What's your thoughts on that?
You know, my thoughts on that is we are excited that even when people, you said, have accomplished that don't have a disability?
Yeah, you know, you guys that you've accomplished so much and did so much, but yet you have other people that, you know, hey, they perfectly healthy, perfectly everything, and just, well, how did that make you feel?
You know, we're excited that our sisters and brothers that don't have disabilities are accomplishing things. It just inspires us and encourages us to push and do more. That's all it does. It inspires us and encourages us to do more, because there again, not everyone, like myself, was born with their disability. Like I said, I wasn't until 35 years old, the age of 35. So I went all of my life driving and living in a full active life doing things. So then all of a sudden when I was diagnosed with this disability, it was like, So now I wanted to see what others were doing that were accomplishing. So now I'm gonna try to do it. I might have to go a little bit, you know, out of the area, go a little zigzag or something to be able to do it. But now I wanna be able to accomplish the same thing the same thing that they're accomplishing. I'm doing it a little differently. Mm-hmm. So we love it. Yes, it encourages us.
So speak about this a little, Sharmese, if you will. How has it, racism, how do your experience, especially being someone with disabilities, how have you experienced racism, and how do you handle that?
Thank you for asking. That's a very good question, Pastor. As far as racism, I haven't really experienced racism. Our biggest thing is we get judged, or people, because we have disabilities, like I say, the lack of education out there. So the biggest thing for us, we're discriminated on a daily basis just because of the lack of education, because we have a disability. For example, I was on the bus here in Kalamazoo County one time, and a guy came up to me, and as people say, I don't look like a person that's visually impaired. And he got into my face and called me a liar, because he said, "You're lying. I can't believe you are here faking and acting like you have a disability when you can see." And I said, "Sir, first I want you to step away from my face, and then let me educate you on something." And that's what I told him on the bus. I said, "You have a moment, let me educate you." So ours is, we're discriminated on a daily basis as people with disabilities, and it doesn't really so much have to be racism. It's just, like I said, the lack of education. Well, you can't do this. I was standing out at the bus stop. Somebody rolled by, literally hollered out their car, "You can see me, right?" So it's those type of things that we experience on a daily basis. Like Carlicia told her story of being on the bus and someone throwing with a straw, and they're spitting spit bubbles at her through the straw at the side of her face. And then the young lady that got on there and you know, said some choice words to her because she was having a bad day and she felt like she was late to work because the bus driver had to stop, put the bus in park, put Carlicia on there, and then strap her wheelchair down in the bus, on the bus. And so the lady wanted to yell and scream at her because she felt like, well, you're the reason why I'm late, because if they didn't have to strap down your wheelchair, I would have been on time to work. So those are the type of things that we as people are faced with all the time, discrimination because of the lack of education. And people really just don't want to take the time out to say, hey, may I ask you a question? Can you educate me on what your disability is, or what it is that you can or can't see, or anything about our disabilities? I was even told when I first started here that someone, a good friend of mine said, Sharmese, when I saw you, I would always see you, but I wanted to speak to you, but I was afraid to come up to you and say anything to you because you couldn't see. I said, hello? But that's something that I get a lot. I'm afraid to come up to you and say anything to you because you have a disability and I don't know how to approach you.
But you have acknowledged that among individuals without disability, and that's why I think you're saying the education piece is so important, because individuals without the disability actually don't know what to do.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know what to do, so then they do nothing. And that's why it's so important that the education takes place. Is
Yes,
that right?
it is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then also, just to let you all know, we provide resources for housing, for food. We provide transportation, because transportation is a really big something for people with disabilities, just regular things of going to try to get your food on a daily basis, going to pick up your prescription. So we provide transportation, but then also we host events every month. Just last week, we were in Galesburg. We went zip lining. We were in an outdoor heated pool with a slide. We went on a 300-foot water slide. We went on a nature trail. We carpet ball. We go kayaking for the blind. We do an awful lot. In a couple of weeks, we're going to the Detroit Princess Riverboat. We do a lot of things. We bowl. We rented out the movie theater. So it's getting people like ourselves together to break down those walls, building connections of having people like ourselves with disabilities to come together and meet others, because we literally have people that are isolated, their friends and family has left them and all because they have a disability, so now they're sitting in their home all the time by themselves. So then while we're out there, the first thing people see is, wow, there's a group of them. So now we have the opportunity to educate these organizations and teach them how to treat us.
Awesome. I mean, I think this is phenomenal information. Once again, give us your questions and our comments. A great opportunity to learn more about individuals with disabilities, learn more about community action. And so make sure you chime in and share with individuals, because, buddy, I think this is rich.
Man, I'm telling you, you mentioned doing some things that I wouldn't even try. I don't know about that zip lining, you know. Yeah, you mentioned some things there that I don't even want to even think about. Angela, we want to jump back over to you for a minute. Since you've been hosting your radio show, you're doing all these other things and everything in the community, have you had to deal with anything simply because, first of all, you're female, secondly, you're black? Have you had to deal with some issues that in doing all of these different things that you had to say, okay, hey, look, I got to handle this?
That's, society would have it, 2 strikes against me, right? Black and female. But I think those are 2 pluses. Yes, I'm black. Yes, I'm a female. I walk in the room, and that's the first thing they see. I open my mouth, then their opinion of me changes, and I like that. Okay. Some say I look a little bit younger. You know, there's ageism. I look a little bit younger, and therefore I don't deserve to be able to speak at the table of all the board of the directors, that type of thing. So, you know, I have to sweetly let it be known that I am educated, I am qualified. I know I said I didn't have specific training earlier. I'm not saying I'm not trained. I'm not saying I haven't gone through professional training. I'm not saying I have not had experience. I've not supervised. These are things that I constantly in my day-to-day job get knocked down on because I am black and I'm not considered to be up where they feel that I should be. And I don't have a voice in what goes on. There's also this this presumption that when I walk in the room, I am to be seen and not heard. Yes, that does still happen, unfortunately, in 2021. I've been working a number of years, and what I do with that is politely teach them. I use those experiences, Buddy, you asked, as a teaching experience to let it be known. I know where I'm coming from, I know where I want to go, and this is how we're going to get there. Be assured in what I'm saying, do it sweetly with dignity and respect. I believe in treating everybody that way, unless they turn left on me. So then, the language changes, the interaction changes, but at the same time, I still don't mind starting with a teachable moment. That's important. The other thing is I don't live to everyone's expectation. I had to get grown to figure that part out. My mental health, my emotional health is more important than living up to someone's expectation that's draining me and I'm no good to nobody. So that's how I handle it.
And you have a degree in both business management and family life education.
Yes,
Tell us
sir.
a little bit about this family life education.
Family life education is a field that would take me to the classroom, the counseling floor, teaching in the level of professor or in the elementary schools, social work. And it deals with the person's internal way of thinking and how he or she would compartmentalize what they may be going through on a day-to-day basis. It also teaches life skills, how to deal with the regular day-to-day business of life. In life skills, you deal with budgeting, you deal with family issues or familial issues, roles, gender roles, birth order, those types of things, and I've touched on all of them with my 8 to 5 and then years of working with home visiting programs and being manager over many things in those fields.
Now, on your, go back to the speak on it, you get a lot of people calling you, you do a lot of interviews, you know a lot about community, you're hearing a lot of stories. And so when you look at our community now, kind of what's your, if you can answer, what's your assessment based on what you're hearing from the people you interview and the people you talk to? What's going on in our community? What do you see? Let me look through your eyes and because you've talked to a lot of people and you're hearing things.
Yes.
Yes, so what do you see?
Several things, Pastor, thank you. I see and hear a lot of things. One of the things, our young people are hurting. There's a lot of things that we as adults or leaders in the community know of, but I will say the hand is starting to reach out more toward young people, individuals who claim that there's nothing to do. That hand is slowly starting to reach out, and I'm thankful for that, but there is a hurting amongst our young people in a community where we need to normalize having mental health issues, and that is another big piece of what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. Mental health issues, and we need to figure out how to do away with the taboo of it. There's a generational thing amongst the Black families that we don't tell anything that goes on. What happens in this house stays in this house, right? What I say to you, you don't go and repeat it. Or Uncle Jimmy lives upstairs in the 3rd room and nobody goes in there. We just set a tray outside his door and you tap on the door, he'll get the tray, and so on. You see where I'm going with that, right? We have to normalize the pain and the suffering of individuals. We have to be willing to be educated and to ask the questions, the hard questions. We're not always right. We just go by the level of education and experience we know. But we have to be a community that reaches out, not just talking about it, but being about the work of improving, living, and coexisting in this community. And that's a lot of what I have been doing with a lot of our young people. Can't reach them all. It's just me. I'm growing again. This is a process. But my heart is that we will be in a community that cares again. One of my favorite tagline when I end my show is, when each one reaches one, a change will come. Be the change you want to see. If not, you're part of the problem. And I choose not to be a part of any problem. And where I need help, you better believe I'm seeking it, I'm researching it, and I'm doing what I can to make sure that I'm the catalyst to move this community forward, and hopefully will be a part of a model that will teach communities all around the world.
Right, buddy, there's some comments I'm going to read, and then we can jump into some more questions. Sharmese has a wonderful and powerful story. She has overcome a lot to be where she is today. Thank you for educating us. Wow, what happened on the bus? God has covered you. Powerful. She's turned an obstacle into an opportunity. People are so mean. Angela, why? Wow, what a mature way to handle racism. So those are the comments that have come in so far. Keep the comments coming and our questions that you have for these two ladies as we continue with sharing with this Black Excellence segment. Buddy?
Yeah. Sharmese, I know sometimes, people without disability, do you find that sometimes we overreact to you guys? Like, you find yourself, well, let me get that for you. Let me do this and let me do that. Tell us a little bit about overreacting. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Mr. Hannah, for asking that question. Yes, we do find sometimes that people do overreact. They just don't know. So and like you said, let me get that for you. Let me do this for you or so. So I always just kindly educate people, and I say, well, thank you so much for your asking if I need assistance, but I promise you if I need help, I will ask you because I don't have a problem with that. And then I'll ask you, I'll actually teach you if you don't know how to guide me or anything like that. But we have that a lot too, yes. It's either, Mr. Hannah, one end of the spectrum where they want to help us an awful lot. Let me tie your shoe for you. Let me put your jacket on for you. No, we can do that. We're okay. Or all the way on the opposite end of the spectrum where it's total silence. I don't know what to say to you. I don't know how to confront you. I don't know if I should say anything. I don't know what I should say. So it's from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Right.
So then is it okay for somebody to say, look, I don't know what to say to you, or I don't know what to do? Is that okay?
Absolutely. I love when someone asks that question. Absolutely. And I also myself try to and speak with people just to let them know it's okay. You can speak to me. I'm going to talk to you. I can't see you clearly, but I can hear you, and I'm going to converse with you. Our director of operations, he's an important part of our organization as well, and he's visually impaired as well, and he used to teach. And so he always starts out with some kind of joke or something like that, and that kind of knocks the wall down for people to make them feel comfortable, so now they want to talk.
Now tell the story. I want you to tell the story about the guide dog, because I remember when you were getting ready to have the guide dog, you actually came in to me in the office and shared. So can you tell that? Because there are certain things that you shared. Can you share that with our audience? The guy, what people are supposed to do with the guy or not to do? Will you tell your story?
Absolutely. Thank you again, Pastor, for asking that question. So yes, I am a guide dog user. And the thing with a guide dog, our guide dogs are our eyes. So it's just like someone coming to you, as I tell everyone, the guide dogs go off of our commands, what we instruct the dog to do, to guide me to a door, to find a seat for me, to take me to the stairs. So anytime as we tell people the reason why you're not supposed to go and touch a guide dog or to pet them or anything, first of all, they're not a pet. They're a service animal. They're trained and certified as a service animal to guide us safely. When someone comes up to that guide dog, that service animal, and pet them, the dog now, their dog first, they naturally want to get your attention. They're excited, their tail wagging, they want to see what it is that you have, listen to you as you're talking to them, that type of thing. So now, if I'm crossing the street or if I'm about to walk down the stairs, when you're petting my guide dog or sneaking to pet my guide dog without my permission, which we have people do that too because other people tell me, you're distracting that dog, so now the dog, I can get hit by a car, I can fall down the stairs, anything, because now the dog has taken their attention off of guiding me safely to give you the attention that you want. Because you want to say hello, you want to rub them, you want to sneak and give them a treat or things like that. So now they're paying attention to what it is that that person is doing instead of getting me safely to my destination. Because the guide dogs there, Gare, are trained to find seats for us, tell us where the stairs are. When we get to a down curb at the traffic light or anything like that, they stop us. We listen for the traffic, and then when we tell the dog to proceed, then the dog walks us across the street. So if a person is coming up and they're guiding, they're petting the dog or want to give the dog a treat or something, now the dog is not doing their job. So that's why it's so important for people not to pet a guide dog when you see the dog with the harness on and working.
Well, we have some more comments here, Pastor, that's coming in.
Okay.
Some of them are, this is truly informational. Mental health is on the rise and will be for our children in school this fall. Supports are needed and care and understanding are needed. Both guests are so encouraging, learning so much. Thank you very much, Pastor Moore, for offering the opportunity for membership to hear a topic we seldomly hear discussed. And we also have a direct question for you, Sharmese, and that question says, was it difficult for you to start your own business?
Oh my goodness, yes, it was difficult for me to start my own business. I have never, thank someone for asking that question, I've never ran an organization, a nonprofit organization before, so it was really hard. But I asked a lot of questions. I asked mentors. I had a mentor. I took the One Place Nonprofit Leadership Academy, hosted by the Kalamazoo Public Library, and I graduated. I took that. So it's a lot of asking questions, going to others that are successfully running nonprofit organization, and I'm a forever student. I tell people that I'm a forever student. I'm always asking questions, always learning.
Angela, your heart's desire is to see people living out loud. Can you talk about that? Like, you want to see people living out loud. What is that?
Living out loud, I learned that from my grandmother. And living out loud is basically, well, the other thing, if you stop learning is the day you need to start laying down to die, okay? She also taught that piece of it. And I think it's very important. I didn't, of course, understand it when I first heard it, but living out loud is learning to walk in your truth, in your space, unapologetically, with purpose and direction and full of intentionality on a day-to-day basis. It is okay to not know what you don't know. It is okay to seek after at whatever age you are. Again, there are people who are still getting degrees and they're in their 60s and 70s, okay? Living out loud is being happy, being your true authentic self, not being a carbon copy of someone else, okay? Not being this person that someone else groomed you and trained you to be, and you're always, what is this angst inside of me? What is this stirring in me where I'm not happy? I can't do this, you know, the way this person or that person says I should do it. Living out loud is being unapologetically you, as long as you're not hurting self or anyone else. That I feel is important. The space, of Speak On It encourages individuals to do just that, live out loud. The space of Butterfly Diamond Collective is live out loud. Don't be afraid of shortcomings. There is help, there's classes, there's programs to get to where you want to be in life. There are people that can help. If not someone in your family, in your bloodline, there are other people in the community. My whole push is for individuals to normalize asking for help. And that's, again, I mentioned mental health. That is something I'm seeing more and more of on a daily basis. It is in my family. It is with the people I work with. I want to make sure that I'm doing my level best and connecting people to the services and other people that they need to be able to grow, to be able to live, to be happy. For me, happy is temporary. Joy is forever, and you guide, the individual guides his or her joy, and that comes from deep within. So water that seed, water that so it can grow within. You can smile from the inside out. Living out loud is important, and I try to do that on a daily basis with intentionality, and that's one of the classes I teach. You know, the life skills classes is figure out what makes you tick. Figure out what ignites you, what stirs you, what part can you play in this world to make it a better space, to make it a better place, to make it safe and equitable.
One follow-up question as we'll talk about the mental health you're talking about, particularly in the African American community. Do you feel or see some people are dealing with mental illnesses, but they don't know it's a mental illness? So what do you say to that person? How does the person deal with the mental illness? I don't know it's a mental illness. How do we navigate that?
A person dealing with mental illness, especially when he or she does not know, is usually in some form of psychosis. Now, I'm not a doctor yet, but I do plan on continuing to work with my psychologists and psychiatrist friends to learn more because, like I said, it's growing, it's on the rise, and we need to normalize that just like people normalize drinking Kool-Aid every day, okay? Come on, somebody.
Okay.
And we have to do that.
Kool-Aid.
So it's looking for those things, that person who may not realize he or she is dealing with some form of mental illness. Talk to them on another angle. Don't say, hey, do you have something going on with you? Is something wrong? Are you feeling kind of, no. Find out what their interests are. You know, what do you like to do? What are your goals in life? How fast do you like to run? Get them that way, because that way it's also a level of trust that has to be established with that individual. So you find out what their interests are and talk to them in that way, get them to understand and believe, and then you can sort of navigate into some of the other areas that are necessary to learn more about what their situation is and encourage that individual to talk to a counselor, to talk to someone who is a professional in that field and learn more of the symptoms and the signs of someone dealing with mental health concerns. Because truly, if someone is in psychosis, and I know this firsthand, if someone is in psychosis and they say, I'm the king of Africa, that's the platform you have your conversation with that person with. You are the king? Well, what do you do in Africa? What are some of your duties? What are your roles? Who's in your court? Those types of things. Really talk to that person because they truly believe it. There's nothing else you can do about it when a person is in psychosis. Mental health is something that we all need to, just like we look at our skin every day, we need to really find ways to tap into that and to normalize getting help.
I'm feeling passion, buddy, on both fronts. I'm feeling passion. And Angela, there's a comment that comes in. It said, "Whew, I'm inspired to live out loud." So that's one of the comments. And another question for you, Angela.
Yes.
Where does your passion for youth come from?
For youth?
For youth. Where does your passion for youth come from?
Comes from, first of all, having two, I refer to them as my bodyguards, two sons, family members, and then in my areas of teaching and community education, had a lot of paths crossed with youth. And because there are a lot of youth that have no hope, you know, it's waning, so my passion is there. I ask the question, you know, what has Black history meant to you? I do it every year, and I get every year, what does that have to do with me? That was then, this is now. I'm out in these streets. I'm doing me. What is doing you? Well, I'm my own person. I'm my own individual. I said, but you're dressed like that person. So what's individual about you? What do you like to do? Again, I need to figure out why a young person feels that he or she has no offering to this community, to this society, to this world.
Awesome. And
why they just take what they see on TV in a video, you know, shiny things dangling in front of their face. They feel like that's it, that's the goal. No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm looking at a president. I'm looking at an executive, a CEO, a business owner.
Okay, Miss, speak on it.
Yeah. You know, she was ready now.
She gone, man.
She gone, man.
She gone. Angela, I got another question I got to ask you.
Yeah, we do have another
I
question
got another
for
question
you.
I got to ask you. What
Yes, sir.
advice do you give adults when trying to help our youth? Angela, that's your name.
The advice I give to adults, the same as I give myself. Try to meet them where they are. Okay? Try not to correct them in their language so much, because that's important. You know, once you get to know them, once you establish that level of trust, because typically people don't care about what we know until they know that they care, that we care about them, okay? I'll say that again. People don't care about what we know, we meaning the adults, until they know that we care for them truly. So whatever they present to us, let's work with that presentation. Don't take it away. They are valuable. Their voices need to be heard. Okay, I was...
Sharmese, I got another question. I mean, this is a question for Sharmese. Can you answer that?
Yeah. Try to get that one in real quick. I'll distract Angela, okay?
You distract that. We knew it was going to happen.
We knew it was going to happen.
So here, but we invited her to come on though. So I guess we asked for it. So Sharmese, now I don't know whether this question is for you, but it's your name on it, or for me. Is it possible for all your churches to come together to have a special conference on disabilities and successful aging?
Wow, that's an awesome question. We would absolutely love that. Yes. Pastor?
Well, it has Sharmese. It didn't have Pastor Moore, so I'm asking you.
Yes, we would absolutely love that. That would be awesome. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Let's do it.
Okay, you guys heard Sharmese's answer, so get with Sharmese.
Absolutely, yes. 269-830-1334. Yes, we would love that.
Okay, last question. Well, she's getting it over here also.
Yeah, it's starting to rub off on her.
But the time is running out, man.
Time is running out.
How do I get involved with your nonprofit? And each one of you answer that. Sharmese first, and then.
Thank you for whoever, asked that question, how you can get involved with our nonprofit organization. You can go to our website at www.friendswithdisabilities.org, and on there we have a form where you can complete, and it'll come right to us. You can give us a call at 269-830-1334. And we would love to speak with you. You can call us, email us, check us out on our website. Our email is info@friendswithdisabilities.org, and we would love to talk to you.
All right. Angela.
Miss Anderson, I'll give my email. I'll try to be really short. Miss Anderson, MS Anderson, 3 @hotmail.com. Miss Anderson, 3 @hotmail.com. They're messing with me. Love y'all. Appreciate the opportunity. I really do.
But you do the advice questions. We got 2 advice questions. The advice questions we have. What advice do you have?
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know which one to start with now. You both got me confused. We're going to start with, we'll start with Angela. Angela, what advice?
We got 4 minutes now, Angela.
This has got to be quick.
Okay.
What advice would you give to African Americans, and what advice would you give to non-African Americans?
If you have a question and you can't face that person, write it down, hand it to them.
Okay, for both of those, both
ways.
Okay, man, I wasn't expecting that
Right,
one.
yeah.
You said be short.
Wow.
Sharmese,
Shall I expound?
Well, same question. What advice would you give to African Americans, and then what advice would you give to non-African Americans?
Remember that inclusion starts with you. That's for both. Inclusion starts with you.
2 good short answers.
Wow.
Man. Very powerful.
We've been
short
asking the wrong questions.
answers. I know. That's right. I know.
We need to.
Hey.
Okay, so since you guys did so well, this is our closing segment. What else would you like to share about what you do, and what else would you like to share that we have not covered? You're speaking to the audience. Now this is share what you'd like to share. Sharmese.
Thank you for asking that question. So what I would like to share, because as we all know that we are experiencing the pandemic, that we are always looking for volunteers. We need volunteers. That sponsorship is always, always welcome, because as we all know, it takes money to do the things that we do, because everything that we do for the community of individuals in Kalamazoo County with a physical or mobility disability is absolutely free. So We need sponsorships, we need volunteers, and transportation is always needed.
Give them your phone number, too.
269-830-1334. Please give us a call. Sponsorship, volunteer, and transportation is always needed for what we're doing in the community for individuals with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you for that. For all of those individuals who want to come on the show, speak on it, please don't wait for me to invite you. Do what many others have. You are welcome to reach out to me. 269-352-9020 is the phone number, or email me at angela.anderson@mwcradio.com.
Very
Wow.
good. Very good, man.
Look, thank you so very much, buddy. I think you're ready to look at our score sheet for tonight.
Oh,
You
yeah.
think we-
Yep. Let's see if we met our goals, man. And I'm gonna ask you this time: do you feel that we informed people?
I think we did. I think because we had a comment said this is very informative. So I think we did inform people.
Do you think we inspired people?
Yes, because people were asking how can they get involved, and they were asking questions about the youth and continue to ask questions. So yes, I think folk were inspired.
Okay. And do you think people found that they was encouraged by our program
I
tonight?
think so, because they were asking for phone numbers and wanted to know more information about what was happening. So I think we encourage people.
And finally, do you feel that we educated people in some way?
Oh my goodness, yes, because I saw a big old comment. It says, "This is so educating." So I think we did it.
I think we did.
Okay, now you got to decide whether you did it, because I think we did it, and through the comments, I think it said we did it. But so you're the final. So we want to thank you once again, Sharmese Anderson. Thank you, and thank you for what you do, and thank you for the passion in which you have. And Angela, thank you for what you're doing to being a valuable resource to our community that we can call on anytime. That you blessed us, and you're a voice, you're a place where our voices can be heard, and we are definitely appreciative for the space in which you cover. Buddy?
Thank you.
All I can say is, if you have someone that you feel should be a guest on this show, please contact us here at Mount Zion Baptist Church and let us know. And we will reach out to those people, individuals, and see if we can get them on the show.
Let's pray. Father, thank you now for this day. We thank you for Sharmese. We thank you for Angela. We thank you for the vessels in which you've made to use in this community. We thank you for the excellence in which they portray, the passion in which they have, and that's making a tremendous difference in our community. We honor you. We thank you now for all those individuals that shared, that came in tonight to view the questions and for what is going to happen because we've shared this place together. And we love and honor you now in the name of Jesus. This is thy servant's prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for streaming live with us. Visit our website mountzionkalamazoo.org or follow us on social media. Again, thank you for joining us and we hope to worship with you again soon. Thank you for streaming live with us. Visit our website mountzionkalamazoo.org or follow us on social media. Again, thank you for joining us and we hope to worship with you again soon. Thank you for streaming live with us. Visit our website mountzionkalamazoo.org or follow us on social media. Again, thank you for joining us and we hope to worship with you again soon. Thank you for streaming live with us. Visit our website mountzionkalamazoo.org or follow us on social media. Again, thank you for joining us and we hope to worship with you again soon. Thank you for streaming live with us. Visit our website mountzionkalamazoo.org or follow us on social media. Again, thank you for joining us and we hope to worship with you again soon. Thank you for streaming live with us. Visit our website mountzionkalamazoo.org or follow us on social media. Again, thank you for joining us and we hope to worship with you again soon. Thank you for streaming live with us.